There's this quote she always says too, and it's from like Maya Angelou, and it's like, people won't remember what you said, but people will remember how you made them feel. So that's a really important thing, because I think for a long time I was so nervous about like saying the wrong thing or like doing something wrong. But then I just remember that quote and realize that people really just remember the way you make them feel. So I try to take that.
Hey everybody, it is the Buffalo Community Podcast, and it's that time of year again where arguably this is my favorite episode of the year, and it is the Buffalo High School Hall of Fame, not nominees, but the winners. Now we have Kate Schmidt in here. She's joining us today, and Mitch is not able to be here right now, so we're just going to stick with you, Kate, and we had a little bit of show prep here, and very excited to hear a little bit of your story. But first of all, let me probably be about the 50th, maybe 500th person to congratulate you on your Hall of Fame win for Buffalo High School.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm glad to be here and talk to you guys today.
Cool.
Yeah. So, again, Hall of Fame winner, senior. We're a week before graduation. Your grad party's tomorrow. So by the time this airs, that will be done.
Yeah, thankfully.
Kind of tell us a pie in the sky, a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to kind of deep dive into what's next.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Kate Schmidt. I'm a senior, like you said. I'm involved in a lot of different activities, kind of all over. I'm sure we'll touch on those, but I don't know. I'm just
a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I suppose.
Awesome. What type of activity? What are you involved in as far as activities?
Well, my favorite thing to talk about is going to be student council. So I've been involved in that since I was a freshman, and I've kind of worked my way up the executive ladder, I suppose. So now I'm president this year, which has been a really fun and exciting thing to do. So yeah, I don't know. It's been a really good experience. I feel like I've met a lot of people in it, and just like growing my connections with like the community and the school.
Yeah. So what are the duties of president of the student council?
I mean, one of our biggest things is just like, so I have a co-president too, so which is really nice because she is really good at like the details, and I'm really good at like going out there and like talking to people and like getting the excitement going.
Sure.
So we're a really good team in that sense. But we basically run the meetings for our other council members and just get like everything in order, make sure everything's running. We do a lot of communication with like admin. So we're always talking to Mishki and Gaida and just getting everything on board for different events. Like homecoming and Bison Field Festival we have tonight actually, which is a big event, but
okay.
Yeah, just all stuff like that.
Yeah. I was never on student council. And so were you a student council guy?
NHS.
I wasn't that either.
That's National Honor Society, Mark.
Yeah. Sorry, I just thought of a really stupid joke. But anyway, well, yeah, so what is student council? I mean, so you coordinate, you plan.
Yeah.
How does student council make Buffalo High School go round?
Yeah, we always like to say we're like the bridge between administration and the students. So we really try to like bring the students' voice to administration and just help to like create a like connection there. So just really like represent the students, like get what they want to be happening at the high school, and just make sure everything's going good for both groups.
Yeah.
So like admin will come to us if they have any like issues with things or events and help with that.
Very cool.
How does this connect, or let's say post-graduation, what are your plans, and, how would your high school career affect what you plan to do in the future?
Yeah, for sure. So I really took a lot from like my love for student council and like the connections and like just talking to people and making those connections, I guess. But so I was looking at like a career in law because I like the public speaking. I like the I don't know, finding like the right and wrong, I guess. But so I was looking at that, and I'm looking at I got a better scholarship from Syracuse. So I'm looking at going to their Maxwell School of Public Affairs, which is, I probably would major in international relations. So I don't know, I'm really just excited about like the opportunities with that. Yeah.
You definitely probably write a book after that.
Yeah.
Of just one something that's always going to be going on, world affairs. It just, you'll probably be busy,
Yep.
Which is, a good thing when you're in the work, the career force.
Yeah.
But yeah, we talked a little bit about that college selection, and it's just kind of a whirlwind. Life is being thrown at you pretty quickly right now.
Yeah, for sure.
You're being thrown out into the world. Tell us how you're feeling right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a mix of excitement and nervousness, I guess, because I don't know, you always want to like make the right decision. But one thing my mom always tells me that's super helpful is she's like, there's no right or wrong decision. There's just a decision and what you make of it.
Yeah.
Which I feel like has been very helpful because obviously I have 2 really good options. I was previously committed to Purdue, and now I'm thinking about going to Syracuse because they gave me more money. But I don't know. I think either option will be really good. So it's just a matter of like slowing down and being able to look at the pros and cons of both.
Yeah. How long have you always kind of been on that law? What'd you say?
Like international relations.
Yeah. Have you always kind of been on that path, or when your 6th grade self, what did you want to be? An astronaut or a teacher or a basketball?
Yeah, no, I would be very surprised. I have changed my mind so many times. Like, I know, so like this time last year, I had completely different plans. I wanted to be an architect and I wanted to go to like Oregon. But I don't know, things just change really fast. You take a look at like what your options are and like what you can do to like best use your talents to help other people, but also like get what you need, like money and all these other things, satisfaction. But
cool.
Yeah.
What has been, I guess, your experience just growing up in this community? What has Buffalo meant to you growing up?
Yeah. So my dad's a pastor at a church here. So I've always been very like rooted in the community. I feel like everywhere we go, people are always talking to us. Like everyone, like even if I don't know them, they know me, I feel like. So it's been a really like welcoming experience. I feel like people are always like looking out for me and watching over me in a way. So I really like grown to love the community, and is one thing I'm going to miss when I...
Yeah. When you go to New York or...
Your dad's the reason why I'm drinking this Diet Coke this morning.
He does. So. He does have a thing for Diet Coke.
Yes. So Luke, here it is for you. So... If you had to give your 9th grade self, because things have changed, a piece of advice, you mentioned your mom gave you a great piece of advice, which I think is great. I have no problem making a decision.
Yeah.
If it's wrong, let's make another one.
Yeah.
If you had to go back and give your 9th grade self, knowing what you know now, what would that piece of advice be?
I think all my advice comes from my mom, probably, because I had 2 things pop in my mind, and both of them are from my mom. The first thing, she always just says like bloom where you're planted, and it kind of comes from the right or wrong decision, because like my freshman year I felt very out of place. Like I was not used to such a big school, and I was very, very shy, and I didn't really think that I had the potential to like become something out of all the people.
President.
So yeah, and
of the student council.
So
sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. So that's one thing she's always said, and I remember writing that in my college essay, like talking about how I was really trying to like bloom where I was planted. And so that's one thing I would tell her. And the other thing is, there's this quote she always says too, and it's from like Maya Angelou, and it's like, people won't remember what you said, but people will remember how you made them feel. So that's a really important thing, because I think for a long time I was so nervous about like saying the wrong thing or like doing something wrong. But then I just remember that quote and realize that people really just remember the way you make them feel. So I try to take that.
Well, I can tell you, I mean, because you've been in the studio here for about a half hour now, I would have never guessed that you're a nervous person, like coming into something new. I mean, there's a lot of equipment in here. We have a lot of our guests come in, they feel a little bit overwhelmed, but it's just kind of been a natural conversation with you, which is really nice.
And I think that's something I've had to like learn and grow into. And I think that's one thing that student council especially has really helped me in, just like being able to be comfortable in new situations.
Yeah.
But
or at least getting comfortable being uncomfortable, right?
Yeah,
where
totally
just kind of pushing yourself a little bit outside of that comfort zone, and because it certainly is easy to stay in your bubble.
Yeah. So one of my observations, and maybe you can expand on just maybe going through schooling right now, is with like the development of AI and like using AI in like papers and stuff like that. One of my observations is one of the highest paid skills in the future, I think, is going to be human connection versus just, well, let me throw this into AI and it's going to throw out with whatever it is. I honestly believe it's going to be human connection. So do you kind of agree with that? Or is AI even like ChatGPT? Did people use that in school to kind of help them with their work? Or, is that a thing right now?
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's very applicable. I feel like everywhere I look at school, people have ChatGPT up, typed away. And I don't know. I really I got into this thing of like the rise of anti-intellectualism. And anytime I brought that up to anyone, they were like, okay, well, like, I don't care. But I don't know.
You lost me at anti-intellectualism.
Hey, ChatGPT, what is the rise of anti-intellectualism?
And I don't know, but I saw like one video about it and I just thought it was really interesting. Like how people are just letting it think for them and not, like, especially on like essays and stuff like that. I've always loved English, so I love writing essays, but I don't know. I see so many people just use it. One of my friends was using it for to write a poem and for her creative writing class, and I don't know. I just think I think it's problematic for a lot of reasons, but I do agree with your thing on connection being an important thing.
Yeah, we could have you back for another episode where we talk, maybe after a year or two of Syracuse, and you're like already smarter than us, but like when you're like way smarter than us, we can just ask you questions about anti-intellectualism.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, we talked a little bit about, the Google Classroom. I mean, were you in 8th grade when COVID hit? I'm not I'm not going to dwell on COVID right now, but you guys were like into the life really starts to happen and you were at home for a year. And even this morning you said, oh, I'm in a hybrid class right now. Is there, even though it's the only path you've been on, kind of maybe recap what that's been like as the education system has really, really changed over the last 5 years.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was a very like developmental time, like 8th grade into, I don't know if it was into 9th grade, but around that time, just like the transition to high school already was a lot. So to go from just like being at home, being in your house, not having to talk to people, to go into like this huge high school with everyone, it was definitely a big transition. And I don't know, but I think a lot of us have grown from there, but it definitely did. It was definitely something to think about at the beginning.
Do you feel like there are things that, like, obviously there was the extreme change in like at-home learning, but do you feel like there are things that have maybe carried over from COVID that maybe are actually a little bit better? Like we never did this before COVID, then COVID made us do it. And we've largely gone back to how things were, but maybe these few things changed for the better. Is there anything that's kind of changed since then that comes to your mind?
I mean, I feel like there has been like a lot more online opportunities and stuff because people realize like you can get work done. Maybe like as an 8th grader, maybe not that much, but as a 12th grader, you can. It's been helpful for like time management. I was telling you earlier, I haven't really been great at time management in the past, but I think a lot of things like the hybrid classes and stuff have helped me to time management, and that's really good prep for college too, because that's how a lot of you have to manage your own time for that. So
cool. We talked a little bit, and I don't remember if we pushed record at this time at all, but did school come easy for you? Were you working night and day to try and get to where you are right now? Kind of give us a little snapshot of there, because I want to expand on the transition from college or from high school to college with just a little bit of a story. I didn't apply myself, and I did just fine in high school, but I know I didn't apply myself knowing what I know now. And I struggled a little bit in college of like, well, I guess I don't really know how to study. All of this really came easy to me, where it was now I'm on my own. I have to make it there. There isn't a schedule for me. So that time management was a little bit of a struggle for me, but kind of, let's expand that a little bit.
Yeah. So I think for the most part, I've been lucky as in like school has come pretty easy for me. I just really enjoy learning. And I think that's part of the thing is like, if there's something that I'm not as interested in, that's a lot harder for me to learn. And that's where I have to really implement those study strategies and stuff like that. But a lot of times I get very, very like interested in certain classes and certain things. And as I've gone through my high school career, I've been able to take more classes that interest me, which has been really helpful and made me want to learn more. So I think that's been really good. But I do struggle when I have to do those math and science. Yeah. not my strong suit necessarily, but
So that freshman year of college, when you're kind of knocking off some of those generals, might be.
it might be a transition for sure. But
yeah.
Are you graduating with some college credit?
yeah, I've done. One nice thing is I was able to start doing like half PSEO last year, so I've gotten a lot of college credits from Northwestern St. Paul. So that's been.
Hopefully they transfer.
Yeah, I'm hoping they transfer. I know they were going to transfer to Purdue, so I'm going to have to double check. For Syracuse.
Yeah.
But.
Who are maybe a couple, 1, 2, 3 teachers from your high school career that really stand out as somebody who had a really positive impact on your career?
Yeah, one of a few that stand out are some of the ones I had write my letters of recommendation for me. But
good idea.
Miss
Safe
Ross.
choices there.
Yeah. Miss Ross, she was my history teacher last year, and I just am really interested in like the history and like affairs and like all stuff like that. And she is just a really interesting person because she's done a lot of like travel abroad and like teaching abroad, and so she was really interesting to talk to. And I really like that she really like wanted us to learn. Like she didn't want us to just like do well on tests. She wanted us to learn, which I really appreciated. And then another one is Mr. Tuck. I don't know if you know him. He's a business guy. He's a business teacher, but he is so excited to teach, and he's so excited to like tell us about his like journey and like how he got to where he is. And I've just like, I think I had my first class ever in 9th grade with him, and I have my like last class ever with him in 12th grade too. So it's very like full circle. And I feel like he's been able to see a lot of growth from me too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then my student council advisors too are amazing, and I love them.
Awesome.
Yep.
Cool.
If before we kind of like wind down, is there anything that we kind of missed before I ask my final question?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty good.
Okay. Coming through the program is just like this is the advertisement for BHM schools. What does BHM schools do really, really well to set kids up for success in life?
I think, I don't know, I've talked about connections a lot, like within the community, within my activities, within the school, but I just think I'm going to stick with the theme because I feel like Buffalo High School is like, when I started, it felt so big, and so I was like so nervous that there wouldn't be those connections, but now I walk through the hallway and I feel like I say hi to like every single person I see, and everyone says hi to me too. Like it's just this like, I feel like seen and I feel like known, like wanted every day when I go to school, which is like a very good feeling because I feel like there's a lot of schools where you don't get that. So it's been a really good experience overall.
That's good.
Can't think of anything more important that a high school could offer.
Yeah.
Is feeling important, feeling valued, feeling
Connected.
I mean, that's 1A. Top of the list goal of any high school. I think. I mean, I don't make goals for high schools. They make their own goals. But if I did,
Yeah.
So,
well, Kate, good luck with wherever you end up, whether it's New York or Indiana. It's Indiana, right? Purdue. Yeah. Good luck to everything you do. I'm sure you're going to do just fine. That's one of the themes that we actually come across. Where like, some people, it's like, oh, young people, they're just going to like. No, I always walk away inspired after today's interviews we're in good hands. We've got a lot of great youth coming into the world and, in the good hands for the next generation.
Yep.
So thank you for being a part of that.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet.
Yep. Good luck and hope to see you.
Go Boilermakers, go Orange Mermerden.
Yes.
What are they called?
Orange
Men?
Now it's just orange.
Orange.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not 1999. I forget.
Yeah. He brings 1999 up every single episode. So, but anyway, for the Buffalo Community Podcast, I'm Tyler Reiss.
I'm Mark Benzer.
And I'm Kate Schmidt.